going to teach you about independent and subordinate clauses.
So there are two types of clause, and one is an independent clause, then the other would be a subordinate, also known as dependent clause. So they both have a subject and a predicate. But the difference between them is that independent clause, it can stand alone, while subordinate cannot stand alone. And it functions like a noun, subject, or so a subordinate clause would function like a noun, an adjective, and adverb. So here's an example sentence. The coach shows players who would benefit from intense drills. In this sentence, the first clause, which is here, this would be the independent clause. And the bottom one, this cannot stand alone, so this would be the subordinate clause.
To put those two together, we need independent clause with a coordinating conjunction. And then it's dependent clause. Some examples is she likes to cook carrots. Now this would be an independent clause, while this would be a dependent, which is but he likes to eat them raw. So this one can't stand alone, but this one can. And to like put them together, you could just like you can put a comma, and these two would be a whole sentence. Wait, another example is I planted flowers. No, that's a dependent clause, while because I like flowers. No, this is a dependent clause, and this is a independent clause, and we join it with the word because, a coordinate conjunction. This one's also a coordinate conjunction. They can also, so that's how you connect independent clause and dependent clauses. So we're going to talk about subordinate clauses. So there's 3 types. We mentioned earlier there's adjective, adverb, and noun. An adjective clause modifies noun or pronouns, usually answering the question which one or what kind. In addition to introducing the clause, the relative pronoun points back to the noun that the clause modifies. An example is the woman who looked happy danced. Woman is the subject of the independent clause, and then who looked happy is the dependent clause. The whole clause is functioning as an adjective modifying the noun woman, which is the subject of the independent clause.
So another type of subordinate clause would be adverb clauses. They modify verbs, adjective, and adverbs. They're called adverbs because they work like adverbs in a sentence. They always begin with a subordinated conjunction such as after, although, because, that, though, unless, or when. So here's an example. When the sun went down, the hikers prepared for their camp. In this sentence, the adverb clause is when the sun went down because it modifies the verb prepared, and therefore the clause works like an adverb in the sentence. The next type of subordinate clauses would be noun clauses. They function just like a noun, a subject complement, a direct object, and an object of preposition. Just like adverb clauses, they also have words that introduce the noun clauses. There are some words like how, if, whatever, whenever, whether, whichever. So here's an example sentence. Whoever leaves the house last must double lock the door. In this sentence, the noun clause would be whoever leaves the house last because it works as a subject in the sentence. Must double lock would be the verb part, and the door would be the object.
Knowing the difference between independent and subordinate clauses is important to understand sentence structures and to avoid fragments. When you want to use comma or semicolons in sentences, and when you are concerned about whether a sentence is or is not a fragment, a good way to start is to be able to recognize dependent and independent clauses.